Thank you, Mr. President, and I welcome the participation of the representative of Ukraine in today's meeting. As we did last Friday, Guyana continues to express grave concern about the mounting civilian casualties in this war. Equally alarming is the fact that civilian infrastructure, including schools, hospitals, and critical energy infrastructure, continues to be targeted in a manner that disregards the principles of distinction, proportionality, and precaution. The prohibition on disproportionate attacks during any armed conflict is clear and is a fundamental principle of IHL. It must be upheld and respected by all. We reiterate our call for the conflict parties to fulfill their obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, and to take all necessary precautions to protect civilians. Mr. President, Guyana has taken note of the many reports about weapons transfers to Ukraine and Russia, and the types of weapons being used in the conflict. We are compelled to reiterate our concern about the use of anti-personnel landmines and cluster munitions. Landmines are inherently indiscriminate, while cluster munitions, when used in or near populated areas, are prone to indiscriminate effects. Both will continue to have lasting and devastating impacts on the lives of civilians long after the war ends. We also reiterate our call for the transfer of weapons and ammunition into this or any armed conflict to be done in line with relevant international legal frameworks, including Security Council resolutions, and have provisions for controls to prevent their irregular transfer and diversion. Mr. President, one development that Guyana finds especially reprehensible is the reported use of drones to intentionally target civilians. The Independent International Commission of Inquiry on Ukraine has documented widespread and systematic drone attacks in its latest report, which have targeted and repeatedly killed and injured civilians in Kherson province. Guyana condemns these abhorrent actions and calls for an independent investigation into all such allegations. Anyone responsible for intentionally directing attacks against civilians in this manner must be held accountable. Mr. President, the monthly meetings and the statements presented in this Council have failed to garner any meaningful and positive movement in resolving this conflict. In fact, the situation continues to worsen. It is clear that this Council must go further. The only effective means of preventing further atrocities is to end this war through peaceful means. This was the stated intention of Resolution 2774, tabled by the United States last February, which remains relevant today. This Council must consider what other actions can be taken by it to advance Resolution 2774. At the same time, we call for an end to the hostilities and for the parties to commence substantive discussions towards this objective. The international community must continue to support all efforts aimed at achieving this outcome. Guyana will continue to do its part. I thank you.